Hello everyone, today I'm going to be reviewing Carrie by Stephen King. Now this was King's first novel ever released, and it's also one of his most popular, spawning a very critically acclaimed film, a very uncritically acclaimed sequel to that film, a made-for-TV film, a Broadway play, and later this year there's going to be another theatrical release of Carrie. But today we're simply going to be looking at the book. Well, Carrie is about a girl named Carrie White who lives in a small town called Chamberlain, Maine. Now, from her birth to when this book takes place, she's an outcast. She gets mercilessly picked on by the people that she goes to school with, and everybody in the town looks at her as a freak. Now, to make it worse, her home life is no better because her mother, Margaret, is extremely religious and not in a good way at all. She thinks everything is sinful, and if Carrie's found out to do any of these sins, she ends up physically abusing her, throwing her in her closet, and making her pray for hours on end. Now all of these things seem bad, but they get worse when you realize that Carrie has telekinetic powers. So if she's ever really mad or she's ever frightened, all of a sudden these strange occurrences seem to happen. Now, during the course of this book, Carrie realizes that she can actually control these occurrences, and it just makes everything worse for everybody in the town of Chamberlain, Maine. Now, this book is written in a little bit different of a way. It's 3 parts, but there's no chapters. What it does is it shows you what's happening in time from Carrie's perspective, and then it will move on to showing you articles and books that were written by doctors who were studying the case of Carrie White and from people who lived in the town and saw these certain things happening. So it's all still in order because we'll talk about it, but then it will move on to different people's perspectives. Now, it isn't really confusing though. It does do it in a very seamless way, so you're not necessarily jumping from time to time. It just basically tells you what happened, then you get different perspectives on what happened from different people. Well, Carrie is one of Stephen King's shortest novels. It rounds out at a little under 300 pages, at least in the edition that I have, and it's very fast-paced throughout the entire story. It's not one of those books or novels that bores you with details. It simply tells you what you need to know in a very fast-paced, organized way, and it's also definitely one of those books that you don't want to put down. Now, I was just getting back into starting to read again when I picked up Carrie, and I'm the kind of person who reads maybe a half an hour to an hour at tops, and I need to take a few hours off from reading before I start reading again. But with Carrie, I took barely any breaks and I read it throughout one entire day, and that's very odd for me. So this book really kept my attention very well, and I just thought it was a great, well-written book. It's just a great story overall, and I would definitely pick up Carrie if you have the chance, especially for somebody who maybe hasn't read any Stephen King novels before. This would be a definite great start. So I'd give Carrie a 5 out of 5.